I came from a background, you know, if you grew up in Oklahoma, you were probably either a Baptist or a Methodist, and there were a few Catholics around, right?
Right.
And each one thought the other one was going to hell, right?
Hell must be awfully crowded.
But if you're from Iran, you're either a Muslim, a Jew, or a Baha'i.
Right.
And there may be some others that I don't know. There's a few Christians there.
Right.
So it's the family you're born into.
Right.
And so even if later you go, well, I don't really believe that, I want to go believe something else or practice something else, you still are forever
right.
that. In the eyes of the government, in the eyes of the people, you know, and it's even in your name. They know by your name whether you're
right,
Jewish
right.
or Muslim and so forth. So because of that, a lot of the people in our audience have just kind of got a bad flavor about religion in general. It's like, you know, religion tries to stick me in a pigeonhole, and it doesn't allow me to express what I want to believe or explore other things. So then when it comes to spirituality, and I'm speaking to them from a spiritual point of view, sometimes they think I'm talking about religion.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
So you are the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center.
Yes.
It's a spiritual center for finding truth. So I'd like to share the most valuable thing that I've gotten from you and from this place, and by having you speak to the distinction.
Yes. Well, there is a difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is a vehicle. Spirituality is the goal. And so religions, as you indicated, there are many, many religions. And religions generally arise around a teacher, an enlightened being, that had an insight into the real nature of existence. And then religion formed around that. Buddha, you know, was a Hindu, became awake, and Buddhism emerged. Jesus was a Jew, became awake, and then Christianity emerged from that. You know, we can go down the list. They didn't come to start religions, but they had their own spiritual awareness. And so the religion is the vehicle, you see, and every religion, as you indicated, depends on a person's culture and a particular history. So a religion is like a different facet of reality. If you were born in this part of the world, you would see it a certain way. If you were born in this part of the world, you would see it this part of the way. And there's nothing wrong with any of them, except when any of them say the others are wrong. That's when...
Or this is the only one.
Or this is the only one. Then that's when it becomes a little immature, you see. So we look at it like this. If you have a wheel, and on the surface of this wheel are all the religions. So you have Zoroastrianism, you have Baha'i, you have Islam, you have Christianity, you have Judaism, you have Buddhism, you know, Jainism, you have Confucianism, you have all these religions on this wheel. And there's a spoke that goes to the center. The religions, when properly practiced, takes you down to the spoke, to the center, where we all meet. And once you get to the center, there's nothing there. The only thing that is there is reality. Not your perception of reality, but the real, the presence of God. God is love. God is peace. God is beauty. God is joy. God is intelligence. The spoke takes you down, and we all meet there. Now, when we're all meeting there, we don't argue about how we got there. What spoke did you take?
Yeah.
I took the Judaism spoke. I took the Baha'i spoke. I took the Christian spoke. And my spoke was better than, you know.
Yeah, right.
It's like if you were all taking a ship,
Yeah.
you know, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. And once you got to the Pacific Ocean, which is really all one body of ocean, we just call it Pacific and the Atlantic based on perception of where you are on planet Earth. Once you get there, you put your boat, you moor it, you tie it up, and you're on the land. You say, how'd you get here? Well, I got that boat. That boat's better than your boat. That boat's better than your boat.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
we all got here.
Yeah.
So if your religion is bringing you closer to reality, or I should say, the practice of the sacred tenets of your religion. Now, there are many people who have a certain belief, but they don't have a practice. So they'll say, I'm Jewish. They'll say, I'm Christian. I'm Baha'i. But they don't necessarily practice what the teachers told them to practice. Because if they actually practiced it, then they would end up at the center. And then they would actually appreciate everyone's religion. You see, the best of religion allows me, when I come to my center, to appreciate your religion. The worst of the religions allows me to put your religions down, let your religion down.
Yeah.
But the best brings us together.
Yeah.
You see, if you're stuck on the wheel and you're just merely a believer, you become fundamentalist.
Yeah.
And if you become fundamentalist, Fundamentalism is basically saying, I really don't believe what I'm saying, so I hope everyone agrees with what I'm saying. But when you come to the center, you don't care with anyone. You don't care if anyone believes, because you're at the center and you see it. You see, if they really believed it, they would just live it.
Yes.
And they wouldn't try to convince everybody else to be that way. It's really a sign of deep fear. Just like a person who's hell-bent on revenge is really afraid, because it takes the strongest man to forgive. Forgiveness is for the strong. Revenge is for the weak. Same thing with religion. If a person is so zealous about their religion, they're really afraid deep down inside that what they believe is not true. They haven't done enough spiritual practice to really see, oh, we all meet.
Yes. Yes, there's reading the scripture, and then there's living it. There's reading about the teachings, and there's living the teachings.
Right.
And you know, part of the mission statement of Embrace Growth, our company, is about embracing those hard moments, which we know are gifts, living a legacy of love.
Absolutely.
People say, don't you mean leaving? No, we're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're living it.
Yeah,
we're
you live the
legacy
now.
Right. It's about living the answers, living the truths, living in the questions without trying to find the right answer.
Right.
And
well, that's very important. Your life is determined by the questions you live in. And so if you ask empowering questions, then the universe answers those questions through your living. If you ask disempowering questions, like why me, what's wrong, who's to blame, then you live in a very narrow point of view. So you're absolutely correct. Your life experience is determined by the questions you ask.
Well, and then your life will get used up by answering a question, the answer to which will not give you any power. Right. Why me?
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah.
If you spent your whole life asking that question, by the time you got to
the universe will say, because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm joking, of course,
right, of course,
but the universe will just give you the answers based on your limited perception, and it will show you how you're connected to the race beliefs of separation and fear and worry. You know, ask a bigger question. What good in me is trying to emerge? What genius is trying to be activated? What gift is trying to be given? We want to ask those kind of questions, of which your basic mystical aspect of every religion has you ask that kind of question. How can I be of service today? How can I love today? How can I be my best self today? How can I evolve today? Those are big questions. Those are beautiful questions.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what we're here about at Agape.
Yeah.
Agape is a spiritual center that embraces all religions. You come here on a particular Sunday or Wednesday or any times of the class. You'll see Buddhists here, you see Baha'i here, you see Muslims here, you see Christians here, you see rabbis here. You know, and so we embrace all the paths, because everyone that comes here ultimately realizes we're all headed to wake up, to have a spiritual realization of our oneness with the presence of God. And whatever your boat is, as long as it's floating, it's all right. You know, we don't have any judgment on that. So we teach the principles behind the teachings. There are, just as there's a law of buoyancy and a law of aerodynamics, there are mental and spiritual principles that you can practice that will make you a better Jew, a better Muslim, a better Hindu, a better Christian, a better being.
Yes.
You see. And so people, you know, they stream us every week from around the world. They come visit us. You know, it's powerful.
AgapeLive.com.
Right.
Live streaming of your shows, AgapeLive.com. I would love for people to know that exists. And you also have an ongoing radio show, which is Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11 time.
Pacific time. HayHouseRadio.com.
Hayhouse?
Hayhouse.
Hayhouse Radio, like H-A-Y. HayHouseRadio.com. The answer is you, pulled by a vision.
Right. It's live. People call in from around the world. I answer questions. I do teachings. That's every Wednesday, as you indicated, at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And then on Friday, I have a program that's at 1 o'clock on kpfk.org.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the gym.
Absolutely. We've got to stay physically fit, spiritually fit, mentally fit.
I plan on being around another 50, 60 years.
Why not?
Yeah. So, thanks again.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us today.